What are some girl secrets guys don't know about? Story 1. Someone already mentioned dong size, but I'm going to go ahead and add some more. Longer is not better. We are only about 4 inches deep, so wishing you had a huge 12-inch dong to shove inside of her won't be pleasurable. It'll be very painful. You'll be ramming her in the cervix, and that doesn't tickle. Girth is more desirable, and if you don't have a lot going for you in the pants, plenty can still be done with the tongue and fingers. For a lot of women, penetration isn't the climax. Also, if she's wet, and I mean like freaking Niagara Falls, it's basically dripping down her legs. You could probably get a baseball bat in there with that much lubrication. It's possible she won't feel you at first until you plow a little out of her, so that is it in isn't always because you're just small. The liquid barrier is real. RIP inbox. I've been trying to keep up with everyone, so my apologies if I didn't get to you. I don't want anyone to feel insecure. My point was just that the corn videos are crazy inaccurate. Most of you are far too hard on yourselves, and your dong is fine the way it is. There's tons of great advice in my line of comments from other men and women, and you shouldn't put so much pressure on what's between your legs. Story 2. Vaginas can only open so deep, and hitting the cervix is generally not fun. The person who spread the rumor that girls like long dongs was probably a dude. Some girls might appreciate a long dong, but a thicker one would be more preferred. However, we really don't care as much as you do about how big your dong is, as long as you know how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, hopefully you can get trained in other areas, such as how to use your fingers or mouth. Women show dominance in public by dressing for the people she will be around, not necessarily for men. If we hate your mom, it's probably because she made us feel less than great about ourselves and perhaps unwelcome. So we will definitely feel the need to dress for every occasion and be a little on the defensive every time we are around her. If we love her, it's because she's made us feel more than loved and welcome, and we feel more relaxed around her like we would our own mother. If a girl tells you straight up no, she's not playing hard to get, and if she is, she's probably a little crazy. Proceed at your own risk. Story 3. Based on other things from here and from the guy's secret one, sometimes girls go to the bathroom with the intention to poop, but a lot of the times it's you go to pee and had no idea you also had to poop until you start peeing. If you're giving oral, not using your hands, ignoring the bean altogether, and basically penetrating her with your tongue, you're most likely going to get a faked origami, or at least faked moans. Girls hate periods and find them gross too, but we deal with them anyways. We don't like seeing the blood and clots and things that come out, and if there was a choice between a little leprechaun popping up once a month and saying, "Hey, you're not pregnant," or getting your period, we'd all go for the leprechaun. With the period, sometimes girls can be moody the days before her period, sometimes she can be moody on her period. Some girls, it's set in stone of when she'll be moody, but others it can fluctuate. She's not choosing to be that way, her period just brings an increase in hormones that cause it. Just like drinking 6 cups of coffee in an hour would make a person wired. Story 4. I suppose guys are warned about unexpected renobs when they get sensual education, the same way girls are warned that discharge is normal as they're going through puberty. I see a lot of discussion about said renobs. I guess the girl's secret would be just how frequent it was to go to the bathroom and suddenly your underwear was soaked. It was insane. This is talking about high school, middle school age, so be careful with the replies. And it could dry on them and make them crusty. It could get bad enough that the underwear could get holes in them if they go long enough without being washed. Sorry for the grossness, tween girls can be unsanitary too. I should add to this, by the way, the comment about how people learn about unexpected renobs and discharge. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm convinced it came from reading magazines targeted at teen girls. I think M was one. But they used to mention the discharge all the time, and I'm sure I heard about renobs from that as well. Story 5. Vagabond wetness. It's a good way to tell if a girl is turned on or not. This depends on the individual girl, hydration levels, ovulation, and age. A better way to tell is if her climatis is hard and pulsing out of the hood. I roll my eyes every time a guy puts himself inside me and says, "Wow, you're so wet, you must be really turned on." No, dude, my vagina just self-lubricates to clean itself, or I'm ovulating soon. If anyone is reading this and is concerned about not finding the clematis or her clematis doesn't seem hard, Go to Cornhub and look up How to Eat Wussy by Nina Hartley. She shows step-by-step how to stimulate the area around a girl's wussy and how the clematis will look when it's hard. While you'll have to tweak your technique for each individual girl, this video is a great starting point to build a foundation on your clematis stimulation knowledge. Story 6. My gripples can be like two clematises on my chest. Rubbing them very gently, licking, being kind, equals I get super wet and aroused. Usually when I touch myself, I stimulate a whipple at the same time. I don't know why dudes don't try this more when I ask. Most go at my chest like they want to smoosh my boobies like dough, or suck a whipple like they're angry and trying to lengthen it. What I think they don't get is there's so much versatility in the body. I like rough play too, but tender play is a whole other lovely world. Story 7. Periods sucks overall, but they're very different depending on the girl. Some women get emotional, some are completely normal. Some periods last for 8 days, some last for 3 days. Some girls are in extreme pain, some just have mild discomfort. Some flows are very heavy, some are very light. AKA, I'm on my period, can mean anything from, sorry, I'm completely incapacitated, or I'm just feeling a little worse than usual. Story 8. Every so often, something itches. Is it a yeast infection? Is it a bacterial infection? Is your pubic hair growing back in? Is it dry? Is it irritation? Did something get stuck in your underwear? The answer is that 99% of the time, everything is fine, but you're still going to worry and squirm uncomfortably trying to get it to stop. And also, yeast infections in general, much more common than one would think, and absolutely goddamn ruthless. Please like and subscribe if you've made it this far. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of this video and have a wonderful day. Story 9. Girth versus length. I feel like guys always base each other off their length. I've had a 9-inch skinny dong, which wasn't great. I've had a 5-inch length thick dong, and it was a ride. Edit. Obviously, hashtag not all women prefer the same thing. Some women want smaller dongs. Some women want monster dongs. I'm just saying guys have this weird dong measuring competition, and half the time they get it wrong with only focusing on length. Story 10. Men with somewhat veiny forearms and pushed up sleeves are a godsend. Edit. I like the sleeves because it's like hiding something for the imagination. Biceps and triceps. Muscular arms are another one of God's gifts, or the hard work and dedication that person took in developing them. Effort is another thing that I appreciate from men, which may or may not indirectly be a part of why I like muscles. Story 11. The feeling of pulling really long hair out of your butt crack. At first it's kinda gross, then this good little shiver feeling. Oh. Looks like our hair ends up in our guys' butts too, and you either love it or hate it, so I'm not sure whether to apologize or say you're welcome. Story 12. We have so many hair-related issues. Plucking dark random gripple hairs, trying to line up when we shave our areas to when we hook up to avoid guys from seeing razor burn or ingrown hairs. Before getting out of the shower, we have to pick out hair from our butt cracks that fell out from washing our hair. Pubes growing and sticking out of our undies, pubes getting stuck in pads or liners. Story 13. I would say this only applies to women who are slightly bigger, but this was an issue for me, even when I was very slim. Thigh rubbage is horrible when you wear a dress or skirt, particularly in the summer. It was also bad for me if I was wearing stockings, and when they would ride down a bit below my vagina, essentially forcing the top of my thighs to rub together in inglorious harmony. It hurts. Story 14. Some women have larger labia, and sometimes they get stuck in our underwear. It's very painful and extremely uncomfortable, and then we have to either walk funny to try to get them unstuck, or walk very, very carefully to somewhere where we can just stick a hand down our pants to get things sorted. And don't get me started about getting stuck in lace underwear. Story 15. The true reason we go to the toilet together is that the waiting queue would usually be so long that alone we will get really bored and feel a little excluded from the conversation for a few minutes when we come back to the group. So we go together and chat the whole time we're waiting. Story 16. Sometimes if you fart, it doesn't escape through the fabric. Instead, it rolls all the way from the back to the front with a noticeable little pop. It's never a good feeling. Apparently this happens to a lot of dudes too. Not gonna lie, I assumed the balls would stop at escaping the front. Story 18. Sometimes a hug will do a million times better than trying to get me to explain why I'm upset, largely because I'm probably overwhelmed with my feelings and need to process them before I can explain them. The fastest way to process and get them out? A hug to feel loved. Story 18. When we say don't stop during boning, it means don't stop doing what you're doing. Don't go harder, don't go faster, just don't stop doing it exactly as you are right now. It seems that when this is said, the guy speeds up or starts messing up the rhythm. Story 19. After you go to the bathroom and you have discharge in your knickers, pulling your knickers back up again is the most horrific feeling. It gets cold very quickly while you pee. Cold, wet, and slimy discharge knickers, imagine that all day long. Story 20. When girls are particular about their hair products, it's not us being overly superficial or picky. When your hair is long, the right shampoo, conditioner, drying routine can be the difference between soft waves and a dry, ratty mess. Story 21. The feeling of having a fart bubble popping forwards and squeezing your thighs to pop it? Wow, I didn't expect this to blow up. Today I learned those guys get this too. Now I have a mental image of dongs flapping up like the lid on a kettle. Story 22. If there are any men fashion designers on here, women who like dresses want pockets in the dresses. And I don't mean near my boobies, I mean on the actual skirt part. I love my dress with pockets. Story 23. Might not be a girl-exclusive thing, but I personally need a lot more foreplay to actually enjoy doing it. Most of the time, I can't get away from strict penetration, no matter how badly we both want it. Story 24. If you bone without a condom, we need a good few minutes after to let everything drain out of us. I always tell my boyfriend, be right back, gotta go ooze, because I love seeing the cringe. Story 25. Being on your period is the worst. Try being super corny, but not being able to wank because everything is just one big slimy mess down there. Story 26. Sometimes we have to take the extra long stride too, because period blood and discharge can make things sticky down there. Story 27. Some of us get extremely corny during this period, or a little before that. Not the best timing, and not so many men dig it. Story 28. When you hold your bosoms when you walk up the stairs, they don't jiggle because that's uncomfortable. Story 29. We are almost always at least a little wet. It's not that you're hot, our bodies just need to be able to function. Story 30. Sometimes when we pee, a stray drop or two starts to roll across our butt cheek, or maybe that's just me. Story 31. Our favorite bra hasn't been washed in 2 weeks. Edit. It is winter, so maybe I should have said 6 weeks. Oops. Story 32. Some women get blood clots in our periods, and it feels like you're giving birth to a jellyfish. Story 33. Sometimes we stand up and things just gush out of us. We always think it's our period. Story 34. How slowly we have to pull out a dry tampon in order not to rip our vagina tissue out. Story 35. Some guys don't understand how different many girls look without makeup. Story 36. We need to pee right after doing it to reduce the risk of getting a UTI. Story 37. Sometimes a pubic hair gets stuck underneath a panty liner. Ouch. Story 38. We get so turned on that our clematis actually hurts sometimes. Story 39. Some girls like squeezing their boobies. Story 40. Some of us have to shave our toes. Story 41. Under sweat is a thing. Please leave your stories in the comments. I'd love to make a video of them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.